support's been from the camp. Obviously, he's not here in Melbourne at this point, but is the team happy with how he's come to hand since arrived?
Yeah, they are. I think what they've said to me is that, and Ian said,
you guys have been involved in the Melbourne Cup, so close with Heartbreak City. Nakeeta's one that you bought into this year. What was it you saw that made you think you were keen to buy him?
Well, I think with Nakeeta, you know, the way, obviously we haven't won the Melbourne Cup and we're trying damn hard to do it, but when I saw Nakeeta's run in the E-Ball last year when it won, and you know, obviously I bought Heartbreak City out of that race the year before. It's a really good race to look for a Cups horse. Nakeeta was really impressive in the E-Ball in 2017, but obviously they wouldn't sell it to me, so I couldn't get involved for last year, and then I obviously followed the horse and flew home from last and ran 5th in last year's Melbourne Cup, and I guess just being an annoying sort of bloke I am, I just kept pestering them, and I think in the end they gave in and let me have half.
And what have you made of his form so far this year?
Terrible. For the punters out there, don't read the form guide, it's not going to help you. The whole preparation was geared around trying to win back-to-back E-Balls this year, and unfortunately that didn't go to plan. The horse was following the favourite in that race, a horse called Stratum of Willie Mullins, and it was the right strategy, except Stratum got poleaxed in the race, nearly got put through the rail, and then we copped the backwash, so we were right out of business. So that kind of threw a spanner in the works for us, and looks terrible on paper, but the horse is going much better than it looks. Obviously then what happened was we were on the second shipment. They only take 8 horses, and I think we were 12th in line at that point, and we had no chance of getting on that plane until Willie Mullins pulled all his horses out at the last minute, and we got the last spot. But what that meant then is when we got out here with the increased prize money, all the additional internationals, we were way down the order. So then, you know, to try and get into the field, we decided we'd have a crack in the Moonee Valley Cup, even though we knew that track wouldn't suit. But the horse was so fresh, we had to take our chance. And if you watch that race, there's no way known he could get around the track, let alone get around the corners. So, but the horse did benefit from the day out at Moonee Valley, and so what I'm saying to you really is, if you look at his form, you can put a line through him. But as far as we're concerned, in-house, we're really happy with the horse. Clinically, he's in better order this year than last year. His work here has been good, and I know the clockers would say the same. And getting back to Flemington is his sort of track.
How anxious have these last few days been if you've waited to see whether you actually would get into that 24 runner field?
Yeah, very anxious. When you're in my job and people are putting money in your bank to buy a Melbourne Cup runner, you really want to be making sure you're buying a Melbourne Cup runner. You don't want people to put good money in and then not get a chance. So when I went home from the Moonee Valley Cup, I thought, geez, I've really stuffed this up. We're not going to get a run. But I think only 2 weeks ago we were 36 in order, and then they just, every day there was another one out, another one out, another one out, and then sort of we got down to about 27, and I'm thinking, geez, I don't know, are we better to be missing out by 1 here, or are we better to be missing out by 5, you know? So it was a long day yesterday. Obviously we knew there was 4 horses that had to be re-vetted. We knew that the announcement came through about, unfortunately, about Red Bird, and that, you know, it was going to be re-vetted at 3:30, so we were standing at the races looking at our watches all day, and then we knew that if Gay Waterhouse won the Derby, they'd kick us out as well. So yeah, it was a long day. I think the owners and I were, you know, we were sort of very nervous all day. We just weren't sure what was happening. It's very frustrating because you can't make any plans. You don't know whether you're going to book accommodation for Tuesday or you're going to be going down to the river, go fishing, you know. So anyway, obviously Red Verdon came out, and then the only problem then was the Derby runner. So we felt that the best strategy to stop the Gay's horse winning the Derby and going in the Cup was if we all backed it. So I think we all had a couple of hundred on it, and happy to lose that money.
Very happy to lose, I'd say. Dan, one of the great joys of Australian racing, watching from the other side of the world, is how strong syndicates are here and how normal people can really compete at the highest level. Just tell us about some of the people involved in this syndicate.
Yeah, there's a really good group. I think anyone in the races, horses, in Australia would have a dream to have a Melbourne Cup runner. I think everybody just wants to be there on that Tuesday, and it's very hard to get them involved or find a horse good enough. So luckily in my job, I can make that happen. So, you know, we can buy a horse or half a horse, and we can break it down into small shares. And we always do try to make sure we have 5 really small shares, so that the everyday person can get involved. It's just not for the big boys. So in this syndicate, we've got a couple of people involved. It's their first go at being involved in a Melbourne Cup horse. A very good friend of ours who's in the room, Peter Leonard. It's the first time he's been involved in a Melbourne Cup horse with his mates, and I don't think he's done much work over the last 10 days, and I don't think he's had much sleep, but he's bursting with excitement, and rightly so.
Fantastic. And if you're summing up the horse's prospects on Tuesday, now that you're in the race, what chance of winning the race?
Well, for once I've drawn a decent gate. Last 2 years I've had 23. So when I walked out yesterday and looked at the barriers, I was surprised to see the number 23 there. I thought they just would have had ATB as a slot holder. But thanks to David Wagner for drawing 3. So that made me feel much better, because this horse he can stay, he can run the 2 mile, that's no question. You saw that last year. He's a horse that needs to build momentum, so he needs to be midfield. He needs to get rolling from the 800, he needs clean air for the last 600, and that's his only chance. If they sit sprint, probably got no chance, but overall, the way the barriers have fallen, the way a lot of the horses have come out of the race, I think, from my point of view, on paper you'd say he's probably going to struggle, but from what I know about the horse and the race and the form, I'd say he'll be the first of the roughies over the line.
Excellent. Any questions for Darren, ladies and gentlemen? Any questions for Darren? No? Darren, good luck to you, sir.
Thanks everyone.
Welcome to ATB-TV. This is the Melbourne Cup edition at Werribee on Sunday morning, and I'm standing here with one of our long-term supporters, Phil Britton.
Morning,
Phil,
Darren. Morning viewers.
a late night last night, nice meal at about 10 p.m. The alarm went off early.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
And you're enjoying this beautiful Victorian weather, laying down from WA. You got coats and jackets.
Someone said, did you get the sun this morning? I said, I haven't seen it at all.
Typical Victoria. Well, the news is we're in the Cup. Now, we didn't think we were going to be in the Cup. Obviously, we had 2 horses trying to get in the Cup, being Yogi and Nakeeta. And it was a long, long day, and it's been a long, long wait over the last couple of weeks. Let's go through Yogi. Yogi had to win the Lexus. We missed the boat on the Bart Cummings, I felt, Phil. He ran 3rd in the Bart Cummings, and you could argue he was unlucky not to win.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good run, wasn't it? Yogi
Not
always
good enough.
tries. It wasn't good enough, but you know, he's just missed this whole campaign. He's been one out all the time, hasn't he?
You've got to
Run
win
second,
these
run
qualifying
second.
races, don't you?
Exactly.
You just got to win them at the end of the day. Now, you were pretty critical of Craig Williams' ride in the Bart Cummings. What was your score out of 10?
Was I?
Yeah, what did you give him out of 10 for the ride?
I'll give him an 8.
An 8.
An 8, actually.
It's not what you said last night when you had 6 reds.
No,
anyway,
that's right.
moving right along. So Yogi had to win the Lexus yesterday to get in. He was unable to do that. 2 main factors. One was the race was run really slow in the middle sections, and they sprinted home in really fast time, which meant it was pretty much impossible to make up that amount of ground he needed to make up. I thought he was credible to only get beat 3.5. It looked a lot worse than that when he went past us.
Missed the start by 4, Darren.
Yeah.
Got beat 3.7.
Do you think that matters?
Oh, just putting something out there.
Oh, just
Like, he's missed the start by 4, got beat for 3.7. Everyone else can... I don't know. Is there excuses for that?
No.
I don't know. It was interesting before the race, though, wasn't it?
Did he miss the start, or has he just got no early speed?
Oh, look, he's got no early speed.
Did you back him?
Oh, a little bit on him.
There you go.
A little bit on him.
Talking through his pocket.
A little bit on him. But,
Anyway, the bottom line was they went too slow in the middle sections and they sprinted home. I think the sectionals were pretty quick, 22 and change. Gives you no hope to run on. That's one of the problems with Yogi, with his racing style, is he needs a bit of juice in the track and he needs a good tempo. Anyway, we had to throw out the stumps and we missed.
Can't write him off, though.
No, I won't write him off.
He'll back up in a couple of weeks in a race that probably will suit him right down the ground.
Listen to my racing manager go here. The cameraman's nodding. We'll go to the Sandown Cup as long as it's not rock hard. still has a nomination for the New Zealand Cup in January, and obviously the Sydney Cup in the autumn. It's always heavy up there. I think it'd be an ideal race for him. But anyway, that's Yogi. He's done and dusted as far as the Melbourne Cup is concerned. In terms of Nakeeta, well, it's been a long, drawn-out affair. As you know, he came out on the second shipment. They only took 8 on the second shipment. He was number 11th in order to get on, and he was never going to get on the plane. And then Willie Mullins pulled all his out at the last minute. Aidan O'Brien turned up with 1 less, so Nakeeta got on the plane. That was step 1 to get here. And then step 2 was the realisation that he was a long way further down the order than we thought, given the quality of horses that turned up. I think the racing people at the VRC did a very good job in recruiting too many good horses, Phil.
There's been some extremely good horses.
So that pushed us right down the order, and then we had to try and see if we could get into the field. Only 2 weeks ago, we were number 36 and they only take 24. So it looked like he couldn't get in. So we had to run in the Moonee Valley Cup because we had to try and win that to secure his place. Now, we knew the track wouldn't suit him. We knew he was probably too fresh, but we had to take a chance, and that failed miserably. So,
do you want me to rate the jockey on that one?
Yeah, you can give him a score out of 10.
3.
3. Not happy with the ride?
No.
What do you think?
I thought after watching his earlier ride on a certain horse, he took 7 horses off the bend, put them out through the rail into the car park, and he didn't look comfortable on Nakeeta at all. He nearly went through the running rail and fell off about 500 or 600 out, and then again at the turn he was all over the place.
So you're not disappointed with the change in job?
No.
Well
Absolutely, no.
So therefore we fronted up yesterday to Flemington, and we were number 25 in order. Such was the attrition rate over the last couple of weeks. And then we really had to wait to see if one of the re-vetted horses were coming out. In fact, Nakeeta himself was re-vetted. He was cleared. There was just a little bit of, he just walked out the box a bit funny and put the vet off, but there was nothing there. So we had to wait for another one to come out. So that horse, in the end, that was under a cloud on the morning x-rays was Red Verdon, had an abscess and shifted a shoe. So they gave him till 3:30 to be fine. So we had to wait till 3:30 to find out if Red Verdon was coming out. And that came through that he was out, which took us into the field and kept us into the field, even though the Lexus winner went in. So then the last roll of dice, Phil, was if Gay Waterhouse won the Derby, her horse was going to run, and that would knock us out again.
We had one thing up our sleeve.
We had
I think you had 500. You had 500 on it to win, and I had 200 on it to win. Absolutely no hope of winning after that. And it's the first time in my life that we're standing there. I've got a Yogi hat on, and we're standing there watching the race, and they're coming around to the turn, and I'm going, go anything, go anything. And everyone's looking at me as if I'm an idiot.
Yeah, well, I've been doing that for a long time. So the bottom line was, our strategy was, well, if Gay Waterhouse wins the Derby, Nakeeta's out of the Cup, the best way to get it beat is for us to back it, because we could stop a train. And Phil's strategy was, well, at least if it wins and Nakeeta's out, you've won 600.
Well, it eases the pain a little bit, doesn't it? You know, it pays for tea.
But I get the feeling you're quite happy to lose your 200.
Oh, not a problem. Happiest time of the lot.
So we got the news through that Nakeeta was in and the last horse in, and we'll take our chance on Tuesday. Now, on Tuesday, we'll go around number 18. For once, David Wagner has done the job for us. We drew barrier 3.
David Wagner is coming forward to draw the barrier of last year's Ebor winner who ran a slashing race in last year's Melbourne Cup. Can Nakeeta go better than top 5 like it did last year? Can it go there again? It is barrier number 3. Nakeeta jumps from 3.
We've got Regan Bayliss riding, so 53 kilos. Only probably 4 jockeys that could make the weight that were available, and of course, as we weren't sure of a run, we couldn't really go and secure any of the, you know, big names. So we had to look at who was the best available. And look, the logic around Regan Bayliss, for those wondering, is that you know, he was on Ventura Storm in the Caulfield Cup, and then, you know, it was never running on Cox Plate Day, so he took another ride. Then they ran it, Mark Zara got on and it won, and then he keeps the ride. So Regan's a bit unlucky there to miss that ride. So the other thing with Regan Bayliss is he's an up and coming rider. and he's done a lot of work at Flemington, so he knows that track inside out. So I think there's a number of pluses for him. It's his first ride in the Cup, but he's more than capable. What are your thoughts?
Yenda wasn't available?
No, he was on Yogi.
Oh, that's right, I remember that. No, I think Regan's, yeah, look, he's an up-and-comer, as you said. He's won some big races. And we're only 100 to 1.
Oh, we're into 80s.
Into 80s. Well, I think...
One of the few horses in the race that can run 2, or has run 2 mile.
5th last year.
What do you think of the run last year when he came from last and flew home run 5th?
It's a huge run, wasn't it?
Who rode it?
Who rode it last year? Schofield.
Oh, well done. He's passing all the tests this morning.
Thank you. And we had Olivia Slayer on ours, remember?
Yes, Tiberian. What do you think? What did you score that ride?
The horse did well.
Yeah.
The horse did
the
well.
ride.
Oh, look, I would have given him a 4 or 5. I think he took off.
I reckon I'd go with the Weir comment.
What was the weird comment?
One day he said to Yendall, I'll give you 1 for turning up.
Oh dear. Yeah, well, he took off at the 1200 metre mark. He made his run and we thought, hello, he's going to set this alight. And then he pulled in, about 600 out, pulled in back
Waited
behind,
for him.
and he waited. And
got
then
run
he
over.
pulled out again, hit the lead, and I thought the 300 metre mark was still a chance, and the horse just... And what I think someone said yesterday, 31 metres further than the winner.
Yeah.
So it says...
We got beat 33 though.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
Well,
it says it all, doesn't it?
yeah.
Like, you shouldn't belt jockeys because they're only little.
I try not to do it. I try not to do it weekly.
You do it weekly. I've seen it. I've watched the show. I've watched the
Now,
shows.
let's get back to Nakeeta. So, the horse is in great order. He was vetted again this morning and he's in really good order clinically. The stable team are really happy with him and we're going to hopefully hear from Bruce a little bit later in this show. Morning, Bruce. Morning. How is he, mate?
Yep, all good.
All good?
Fresh and well and moving well, so everything's good. Pleased with it.
Finally, we're in.
Yeah.
It was a long day yesterday.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We've got our jockey.
Yes.
Do you have his agent's number or
Yes?
did you send that?
Sure.
Send it to Ian.
I've sent it to him.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. You're ahead of
But just thinking outside the square, we've drawn 3. Our strategy will be to be midfield somewhere with cover. Got to get him rolling at about the 800. He's not a sit sprint horse, so we need to get him out and get him rolling, and then we need to be in clear air by the 600. We wouldn't want to be any more than 8 lengths off the lead at that point, and then it's just a question of whether he can hit the line. Now, one thing I will say, with the heavy rain forecast on Monday and Tuesday, it's right up his alley. In that field, the favourite's obviously drawn 23 out in our old gate, and some of the other horses have got no form yet.
Did you see the look on Nick Williams' face when he drew 23?
It was like opening a birthday present and there was nothing inside.
Anyway, we know it's like
So where
to
do
draw
you
23,
think,
don't we?
are you any good at tipping things? Where do you think Nakeeta's going to finish in the Melbourne Cup? What's your view?
Look, on the run at Moonee Valley, you'd think, geez, it's going to finish down the track, but on last year, look, you've got to be confident it's going to finish in the first 6 or 7.
6 or 7?
First 6 or 7. I'd like to, all the stars align, everything goes right, and you finally get that dream come true, and that cup will be ours on Tuesday.
Well, you hope.
Well, there's no pressure. We're 101 into 80s.
There's a lot of
But we
pressure
know
on
the horse
day,
can
mate.
run well.
When you're standing in the mounting out Tuesday, the pressure will be there.
There'll be pressure on it, right?
Now, what will you do if he wins? Because I know you're leaving on Saturday. What would happen to you if you won the Melbourne Cup?
I reckon I would be just about sober enough on Saturday morning to hop on that plane. Just about sober enough, I think. What about yourself?
Oh, I've got no idea how I'd react, to be honest. I think, it's something that you aspire to. You work hard to get a runner, and you work hard to buy the right horse, and you're happy to be in the race, and then you want to run well. But if it ever did go over the line in first place, I've got absolutely no idea I think you'd just be numb. You'd be in a state of disbelief, and the whole world would be spinning around you, and you just would be like you're watching it on TV, and it's not real, like a dream.
I think it'd take a long time for us to come back down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just don't know. But I think it'd be quite surreal.
It'd be amazing, really. And just thinking about it now, you get chills up your spine, don't you?
But that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly, that's what we're there for. So, but just a quick one too, with the two young kids that are looking after Nakeeta. A lot of you viewers probably wouldn't realise that the young girl is 18. Turns 18 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, we made it.
I know.
And he's running on your birthday.
Yeah.
That'd be a good present, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the night exactly.
Yeah, when I seen the Prince of Arran one, I thought, oh no, and I couldn't watch the derby. I looked at the results, I was in Coles, everyone thought I was mental, jumping about. But yeah, we're in. Yeah, we've got 3.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Better than last year.
Yeah.
So you can be midfield now, no problem. And then just peel out when you want to.
Nice birthday present.
And Bruce turns 20 today. So his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Bruce.
All together now. Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Bruce. Happy birthday to you. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
What do you want for your birthday? A Melbourne Cup?
Thank you all so much.
You want a Melbourne Cup for your birthday?
Yes.
Might be a belated present. Yeah, 2 days.
When you think about it, they've brought a horse all the way around the world and left it in the hands of those two young people. Think of the experience in this day and age, and what a story that's going to be in itself.
If it happens.
If Nakeeta gets across the line and even runs in the first 3 or 4,
Yep.
it's a huge thing. You know, this day and age, kids, you can't get them to get out of bed half the time, and these kids are there religiously.
Working long hours.
Well, they've got the whole lot, everything derives around what they're doing, and I think it's a testament to them, and
Yep.
they're lovely people, as you well know.
Yep. So our history at this point is 2nd with Heartbreak City, 3rd with Jackalbury, 5th with Dandino, 7th with Tiberian, 9th with Seismos, and 23rd with Tactiboy Strong. The holes that we need to fill.
Suspect was 21.
The holes we need to fill are 1 and 4. I'm not really interested in 6th and 8th. I'd like to fill the hole of 1 or 4. I'd be quite happy with that.
Well, I'd take 1 and 4, then 6 and 8.
Now let's cross over to an earlier interview I did with Peter Leonard, one of the new owners in the Melbourne Cup horse. Him and his 10 mates formed together a little syndicate, and this is what Peter Leonard had to say earlier. Catching up with Peter Leonard here at Werribee on Sunday morning before the Melbourne Cup. Peter, welcome to ATB-TV. You got a couple of horses with us. We had a bit of fun in Darwin, but how do you feel about being a part owner in Nakeeta?
Oh, Darren, it's just unbelievable. It's you know, you just done a media speech in there, and you said how it's if you're in racing, it's a dream to have a Melbourne Cup runner, you know, and it is. It's a lifelong dream for everyone, and for us to actually get there, thanks to you and Liz. An ATB, it's just an unbelievable feeling.
Now yesterday was a long day because we didn't know if we had a run or not all day. How did you feel through the day yesterday waiting to find out whether we're going to make the final field?
Yeah, it was a bugger of a day, Darren. I couldn't watch the races yesterday because we were in, we were out, we were in, we were out, and so I just went spraying. Yeah, I went spraying, and then I got a message to say that Red Verdon had unfortunately come out, and we're back in, and then the text, all the other co-owners were texting saying we're in, and we just had to rely on Gator to stuff things up, and that worked, thank goodness.
Mate, you've got 10 of your friends in this share.
Yeah.
Tell us how they're all feeling about having their first Melbourne Cup run.
Oh, they're all over the moon, you know, they are. There's 6 family members in the horse with us, and there's three good mates and their wives, and you know they're all Tuesday can't come quick enough. We're unbelievable. Yeah.
Now you're a builder by trade, not a bad one either, I must say. Has there been much work done over the last week in your business?
No, there hasn't, and I don't think there'll be too much done next week either. By now that things have rolled our way, but yeah, we'll work through Christmas now. We have to.
Mate, what are your plans for Melbourne Cup Day? Tell us what will happen Melbourne Cup Day. You come from Ballarat, most of you, Dunstown.
Yeah.
What'll take us through the day?
Yeah, we'll sort that out today, but we'll be on probably the 8 o'clock train down to Southern Cross and out to Flemington, and yeah, there'll be probably 20, 30 of us down there, and you know, if luck goes our way with Nakeeta, well, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Well, I wonder if we do happen to win it, how many days before you'd buy the book and return trip to Ballarat?
No, it's a one-way ticket at the moment. Got to be positive, one-way ticket, yeah.
Good on you, mate. Well, pleased to have you involved, and that shows, I think, the definition of what we do in syndication, that we get people like Peter involved and his mates, and they're going to have a thrill of a lifetime over the next week. Good luck, mate. Let's hope he runs well.
Can I just say, Darren, you know, on behalf of all our owners, you know, you sit in there, you get little syndicates together. It's a credit to you and Liz to have, you know, we're country bumpkins, battlers, and that doesn't happen with Melbourne Cups. You know, you think it doesn't happen, but here we are. It's happened, and you know, we just can't thank you. The operation that you and Liz do with ATB, it's unbelievable, and we can't thank you enough. Thanks very much, mate.
Let's hope you're thanking me Tuesday night.
We will be drinking out of that cup.
Good on you, mate. Well done. You know what? That's what syndication's all about. He's so excited. He's nervous. You can see it in his eyes. He's just living the moment. He's down here at Werribee regularly, and he's getting the most out of it. Now, Peter Ellis is not here today. He had a bit of a sleep in and doing the form, so he's just sent his top 4 early selections through.
Weren't they interesting?
And I think we'll just flash them up now. But I think in terms of Nakeeta, he'll be doing the tactics with Regan Bayliss, and he gives the horse a good chance to finish in the first 8. And you know, he pretty much said the same about Prince of Penzance when he did the tactics for it. Told Michelle Payne just to ride it to run 3rd. This is how you run 3rd. Followed that tactics, and it opened up, and she went bang. So there's some similar strategy this year. Well, good luck to all the owners out there. Let's hope Tuesday, if we can just get the right run and the horse gets to show its best, and wherever it finishes, as long as it's no excuses, I think we'll walk away pretty happy.
I think so, Darren.
Good luck to everyone, and bring on the Melbourne Cup.